Hello, welcome to my shitty YouTube channel. Today I gonna tell you how to build Sparkle and show you his best team. So I don't know, clear MOC easier. This video take a long time to make. So please if you still not subscribe, like subscribe and hit the notification bell for more shitty video.
Hanabi だよ。もし危険な依頼とかあったら花火に行ってね。面白そうだったら費用は安くしてあげる。大事なのは楽しく遊ぶこと。だよね。
Alright, let's talk about basic attack first. Sparkle basic attack deal quantum damage equal to 100% of Sparkle's attack to a single enemy. For her skill increases the crit damage of a single ally by 24%, of Sparkle's crit damage plus 45%, lasting for one turn, and at the same time, advances forward ally's action by 50%. But when you use this skill on Sparkles, the action forward effect will not trigger. Now into her ultimate. She will recover's 4th skill point and grant all allies Cipher, for allies with Cipher. Each stack of the damage boost effect provided by Sparkle's talent additionally increases by 10%, lasting for 2 turns. Her talent, while Sparkle on battlefield, additionally increases the max number of skill points by 2. Whenever an ally consumes 1 skill point, all allies' damage dealt increases by 6%. This effect will last for 2 turns and can stack up to 3 times. Using Sparkle technique grant all allies misdirect for 20 seconds. Characters with misdirect will not be detected by enemies. And entering battle in the misdirect state recovers 3 skill points for the team. Now into Sparkle traces. Traces A2 when using basic attack. Additionally regenerates 10 energy. Her traces A4. The crit damage boost effect provided by the skill will be extended until the start of the target's next turn. Her traces A6 increases all allies' attack by 15% when there are 1, 2, or 3 quantum-type allies in the team. Additionally increases quantum-type allies' attack by 5%, 15%, or 30%. For talent priority, I recommend max her skill first, then her ultimate or talent second, and last one basic attack. You can leave skill and ultimate on level 8 if you want to, but I still recommend maxing it. That's all Sparkle Kit. Now let's talk about Sparkle Relict.
花火はね、ただの脇役になって普段はステージの上にいる人に拍手を送ったり雰囲気を盛り上げたりして、クライマックスになった瞬間ドーンって花火みたいにそれを派手に爆発させたいの。こんなこと主人公にはできないでしょ。
Alright, now for Sparkle Relict option is really simple. You want for Peace Messenger traversing hackerspace, but only use for Piece of Messenger traversing hackerspace if your Sparkle is speedy, while the DPS is slow. The other option is for Peace Musketeer of Wild Wheat, or to Peace Messenger traversing hackerspace with 2-piece Longbus Disciple, or to Peace Guard of Wuthering Snow. Sparkle cares a lot more about substats, so focus at speed. Speed is the most important stat for her. Aiming to hit a speed breakpoint is generally better than trying to aim for really high crit damage. Her best planetary set is Broken Keel. This is because it provides crit damage. Sparkle need crit damage for her skill, so it can buff more crit damage. Penacony Land of the Dreams is another solid option. If you want to use her in Quantum Teams and Fleet of the Ageless is fine if you have nothing else. For her main stats, you want crit damage body, speed boots, HP percent or defense planar sphere, and energy recharge link rope. For her sub-stats, you want crit damage as much as possible, and speed until breakpoint.
この世界はサーカス団みたいに昼も夜も滑稽なショーを上映してる。熊の一輪車乗り、ライオンの日の輪くぐり、猿のお椀乗せ。花火たち愚者が他の人たちと違うのは、 自分たちが演じてることを自覚してるところなんだよ。
Now let's talk about Light Cone. First Light Cone is Sparkle's signature Light Cone Earthly Escapade. Is the best Light Cone for Sparkle, as it provides vast amount of stats. Starting off, it gives Sparkle 32 crit damage, which helps add into her skill buff. Next buff is, the wearer of this Light Cone gains an effect called Mask for 3 turns. While the wearer has Mask, the wearer's allies have their crit rate increased by 10%, and their crit damage increased by 28%. This Light Cone is one of the best signature Light Cone in the game due to the vast amount of stats it gives. Second best Light Cone option for Sparkle is. But the battle isn't over. This Light Cone increases the wearer's energy regeneration rate by 10% and regenerates 1 skill point when the wearer uses their ultimate on an ally, and when the wearer uses their skill. The next ally taking action deals 30% more damage for 1 turns. If you ask why. But the battle isn't over. Light Cone is Sparkle's second best option. It's because even when 50% advance will not give a turn to a main DPS, it still regenerates 1 skill point every 2 uses of the wearer's ultimate, so you can activate Sparkle talent more often. But at 75% cases, main DPS still get buff from this Light Cone. Additionally, all of this applies to past and future Light Cone too, but without the energy recharge and free skill points, but it is accessible for free to play. Next is Planetary Rendezvous. Only use this Light Cone if you're playing with Quantum Team. Dance 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 is also another option if you want to action advance the entire team. But only use this Light Cone of your Sparkle is Max Speed Sparkle, as the action advance can ruin Speed Sensed, and the last one is Carve the Moon. Weave the Clouds is a fine option when no other alternatives are available, but often overshadowed by other more consistent or powerful Harmony Cone options.
花火は秋っぽいからずっと同じ夢とか持ってられないんだ。最近の夢は天才クラブに入ること。そう、天才を演じたいの。この難しい挑戦すっごく試してみたい。誰か花火を応援してくれる人はいないかな。
Before I tell you Sparkle Team selection, I want to talk about her Action Advance. Sparkle Action Advance is not 100% like Bronya's Action Advance. This means you have to work a little harder to get it to function similarly. Most people think a 50% advance just halves the current action value of the DPS. However, an Action Advance subtracts from the current action value by 50% of the base amount. Instead of having the current AV, a 50% action advance will essentially always cut your DPS action value to 0, resulting in them being placed right behind your Sparkle, as assuming you follow the criteria. Your DPS will always have under 5,000 gauge by Sparkle's turn. I get this information from Kajire YouTube channel, so please check him out. Kajire make better guide than me. So, all you really need to know from this is the criteria, which is that Sparkle is not 2 times the speed of your DPS or slower than your DPS. The general consensus of building speed on her is to build as much speed as you possibly can, with 161 being a good goal for most. When playing fast, Sparkle DPS speed is irrelevant. This is because you're basically dragging your DPS along with fast Sparkle, meaning that speed does not influence the amount of actions they take. Therefore, you want 0 speed if possible, as you aren't gaining anything by having it. However, this is only one of 2 ways to speed tune. If you can't or tired of grinding for speed substats relics, you can do the -1 or 2 variant. Generally, with 134 or 135 speed has its benefits, but overall just kinda worse than 161 speed Sparkle. -1 or 2 grant 15% more actions, but you consume 50% more skill points. And you need to use speed boots on your DPS, which means you lose 43% attack. And you don't have 100% uptime on Sparkle's skill. It's your choice on which variant you want to use, as both are fine, as there are niche cases where -1 or to Sparkle can be better than fast Sparkle, but generally faster Sparkle is much better. Why I explain speed tuning is because there are main DPS that benefit more slow Sparkle than speed Sparkle. The DPS is Sealy. The reason Sparkle needs to be slower than Sealy is so Sealy can use her extra speed over Sparkle along with her normal attack advance to gain a to-turn rotation over Sparkle. This does a couple things. The first is that it makes Sealy SP neutral, allowing you to use your SP with your other team members. The second is it simply adds a bit of extra damage and energy gain that she gets with it. Basically, Sealy is the special case, because Sealy has her own personal playstyle with Sparkle that no other character can abuse. And there are also Blade and Jingliu, who prefer a slow Sparkle. Alright, now let's talk about team comps. For her team comps, you really just need to pair Sparkle with either Tingyan or Ruan Nei, and it will works for most team, and they're also Quantum Team. For Quantum Team to work you need Silver Wolf. So you don't need to worry about enemy element because Silver Wolf will just make the enemy weak to Quantum. But if the enemy weak to Quantum, don't bring Silver Wolf. Better bring Tingyan or Ruan Mei. If you're wondering about Bronya, the characters that can use both together are quite limited, as the skill point economy is not that great long term. Blade is one of the few characters where you can do this efficiently without any drawbacks at all. So he's the rare exception to this rule. Everyone else falls into one of these two categories. Sparkle synergies with pretty much everyone. Any crit scaling DPS in the entire game benefits heavily from Sparkle. That is due to the nature of how her buffs work, and her trace allowing her to work with characters that even attack outside their turn. But there are some characters that benefit from Sparkle more than others, like Danheng and Jing Yuan and the other Quantum DPS characters, but I can't explain all of it, so I will just show you the list.
捨てられた孤児、呪われた少女、人形一族の末裔。相手の好みにもよるけど、どんな過去でも用意できるよ。くるくる。
Sparkle Eidolons are really strong. So strong that I recommend her Eidolons over her light cone. Sparkle E1 extends the Cypher effect by the ultimate for 1 extra turn. And all allies with Cypher have their attack increased by 40%. Her E2 enables each talent stack to allows all allies to ignore 8% of the target defense, totaling up to 24% defense ignore. This is one of the best Eidolons in the game. Her E4 makes her ultimate recover 1 more skill point, and increase the talent's max skill point by 1. This one is nice to have for Sparkle, helping her skill point generation even more. Her E6 increases the crit damage boost effect of Sparkle skill by 30% of Sparkle crit damage. And when Sparkle uses skill, her skill's crit damage boost effect will apply to all allies with Cypher. And when Sparkle uses her ultimate, any single ally who benefits from her skill's crit damage boost will spread that effect to allies with Cypher. Overall, Sparkle Eidolons are great, providing a mix of damage increases and quality of life quite significantly. If you ask whether to pull her Eidolons or her light cone, I would recommend you to pull for her Eidolons. But her light cone is still good for characters that can't use past and future. For example, Jing Yuan. So is she worth it to pull? The answer is yes, she's worth it to pull. Sparkle is a really great buffer who is exceptional at what she does. And she extremely versatile with her team and light cone option. Sparkle is one of the best non-sustained character in the game right now. Thank you for watching this shitty guide. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more shitty video.
また会おうね、七しびとさん。トラブルに巻き込まれないように気をつけて。特に また花火に会った時には要注意
See you in the next video.